Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine. So I'm going to go ahead and do this movie review. I went to see Nobody's Fool, to my dismay. Now, Nobody's Fool is starring Tiffany Haddish. Now, I'm not sure how to say her name. It's Tika Sumpter, I think. Omari Hardwick, which is everybody know him from Power, and Whoopi Goldberg, and is directed and written by Tyler Perry. So you already know. Medea was not in here, thank God. So, okay, Tyler Perry is trying to get in more genres. He's trying to branch out, if you will, with he's trying to branch out with more genres, and I think, you know, with what's the name of that movie, with Acrimony, he kind of he dabbled with psychological thriller, psychological horror maybe, and and I was like, okay, he's not really getting there, but he's kind of getting a little better as a filmmaker. So I respected that he's trying to, branch out and do more. So now this is a romantic comedy to its core. This movie is a romantic comedy. And, it needed work. It was a lot of parts that was real kind of dull to me. It was just like some things just kind of lingered. And I was like, man, they could be better if they could cut right here, but they kept going with it. So Tiffany Haddish is pretty much, she's not the main character at all, but they pushing it under her name. And I feel like when I saw this movie, I feel like they added her scenes. It felt like a lot of the movie, I feel like they brought her in late because she got a name. So they was like, we need a name to push this movie. Because she really didn't add nothing to the plot. And it was funny because she in every scene in the trailer, but the movie was really about this, the other lady, Tika Sumpter character, Danica. And Tiffany Haddish was a side character actually. And so your main plot is this Danica, Tika Sumpter character Danica was a successful businesswoman, and she kind of had like a dysfunctional family a little bit, but they was cool, but they everybody got their problems. Whoopi Goldberg was her mom. She was like growing weed. They didn't really go nowhere with that. They had her with these big weed plants, in her house. And I'm thinking like, okay, is she selling it? Because she had enough to like start a business. So don't tell me she was smoking all that. And I don't know what city they was living in. Maybe it was legal. I'm not sure. But Tiffany Haddish was a sister, so from the trailer, her sister was locked up, and okay, so the trailers kind of led you to think like, I see where this is going. We got the zany family member that I'm gonna bring around everybody, and everybody's gonna like, and then Tika Danica was gonna be the straight man. She was gonna be the one that get her life turned upside down by this crazy family member, and then at the end she was gonna learn this lesson, family first or something like that. Nope, movie wasn't nothing about that shit. Like I said, Tiffany Haddish was just there to add laughs, because every scene she was in, she was just loud as shit. Sometimes some scenes it was funny, and some of it really seemed ad lib, and I was looking like some of it just wasn't necessary. But she was okay, because some parts she made me laugh, but for real, I think they could have did this movie without her, but I think it helped their sales by putting her in it. So I'm not mad at them for putting her in there. So just the whole plot, man, the whole premise, as you saw in the trailer, the girl had a long distance relationship, and she hasn't met the guy yet. So when all her friends was like, oh, you ain't met this dude, you being catfished, and they kind of went on that, which that was one of the plots. It was other plots. In these movies, it's always a it's always a love interest that's interested in your main character, and they not noticing, or they're not into the person that really good for them or whatever, and because they chasing something else. Now, I seen this formula done a lot, and they always got a friend that should be the one, but they don't pay attention to them, or somebody that really likes them, and they always, shoo them to the side or something, excuse me, or something like that. And, they followed that formula, and that's what Omari Hardwick character, he was into Tika Sumpter character, and and I'm looking like, why don't she like this guy? I'm looking like, okay, this dude he owned his own coffee shop. He wasn't just some dude. You know what I'm saying? He owned his own coffee shop. He's very much interested in her. And okay, they made it seem like basically she got this long distance boyfriend, so she, not trying to date him or whatever. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But they go in this other place with this whole, and I don't want to spoil it, but they go into another place where, okay, if that's not going to work out, this guy's very interested in me. Why can't I date him? It's just, it's kind of silly, the reasons why they do the stuff they do in this movie. And so that is like your main plot. It's really solving this, finding out about this catfish thing. But that's the thing. I did not like the main character. The Danica character was a fucking asshole. And the thing is, what I hate about these movies, which you see men do this, they do somebody wrong. They say some bullshit, they get them back. They do them wrong again. They come back at the end, and they play the music. You're always the one I wanted, and then they take them back. I'm a little tired of that shit, because she did this dude dirty, and then she done it. She did it like a couple times, and you know what I'm saying. And she did some old hurtful shit. Like, she was just so goddamn selfish. It was pissing me off. I'm like, why do she get to be who she want? Why does she get the man at the end? Vice versa. Like, why the dude get the girl when he don't deserve it? Stuff like that, I just didn't like stuff like that. But that's your main formula for a romantic comedy. You got the person in front of you that you don't pay attention to because you're chasing something else. And okay, so talk a little bit more about all the performances, man. Your girl Tiffany Haddish, like I said, was ad-libbing a lot. I think, I just feel like her character was added into the script like late. I think what they wanted her friend, that was she had a little heavyset friend that worked in the office with her. She's supposed to be in the sidekick, the joking sidekick. Always got something funny to say, whatever. And I think that just wasn't working. So they're like, okay, we need somebody funnier, and they brought Tiffany Haddish in. And they just added her to the ensemble or whatever. But what they sold in the trailer, the movie was definitely not, and which is cool, because they made it seem like it was going to be Tiffany movie, and it was not at all. She was just a side character. But on the whole, man, it was a lot of cliche moments. A lot of cringe-worthy moments, like some of the parts where I guess they was ad-libbing or whatever, but the script was kind of horrible because Tiffany Haddish doing her thing, and when people reacting to her, it didn't feel genuine. I'm looking like, really? It's like everybody's kind of like what? Whoa! The movie was not that good. And Tiffany Haddish, some scenes I think the introduction of her character was a smart idea, bring some comedy into it, but they let her go a little too hard on being stupid, because sometimes it just feels like she just acting out now. It's like, I was in jail and it was stuff she was saying that was like, oh my God. It's like, stop. Basically that movie, it tried to survive on her alone. tried to survive on her comedy alone, and it just didn't do it. You know, it didn't do it for me. They brought in a couple cameos, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but they brought in one cameo. It was funny, and then of course they let it go on too long, and then it ended up being stupid. It's like you got good ideas, but you do not know how to execute them at all. You know, if you bring in a cameo of a comedian and you let him come in and say something funny, then you get him the hell out of there. They let him go on with a bit that for 5 minutes when it should have been like a 30 second to a minute skit that would have been funny if you would have let him come in, do his little bit, and get out. No, he came in and kept talking. They let it go on for like 5 minutes. I'm like, really? Like now it's getting drawn out. And you know, stuff like that, man. It's like I kind of like Tyler Perry as a director, man. He needs to grow a long way, because I think what it was, because he's so used to doing plays too, and I think he already know he got his audience. So I think he's not evolving as a director, and I'm worried. Like, dude, you supposed to know how to cut and edit these movies a lot better. Because I'm looking like this actually could have been a decent rom-com. I mean, because looking at the story, it kind of works as a rom-com, but the execution was so off that it didn't hit, it didn't land. And then they add this one scene at the end, which made me really believe that Tiffany Haddish was not originally in this movie, where they had this one scene where it's looking like, why is this here? This don't belong here at all. Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna have to give this movie a whack, man. I didn't give it a hot garbage because I laughed at a couple scenes. Whoopi Goldberg was actually pretty good. Whoopi Goldberg was the bright spot in the movie, man. She was funny, and then she actually had some decent little heart to heart with her daughter, and so stuff like that wasn't bad. That's why I said it was good ideas and some good actors, but the execution was so off, man. Direction was off. I thought Tyler Perry was gonna get better as a director, and I was gonna be like, okay, cool, we got us a black director that's trying to help the black actors get more out there, but you ain't really doing them no favors with shit like this. For real, too. This is the kind of stuff where they be like, oh, this is black movies. Okay. You pat them on their little head and like, okay, good job. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crap. So I'm gonna wrap this up. So I give it a whack because the movie just didn't know how to get in and get out. It was too long. It had too many subplots. None of the stuff paid off. The ending was not there. All right, so thanks for checking out the video, and I will have more reviews coming out.